Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to make a pie, because it's like almost the hottest day of the year. It's one of my favourite pie flavours, it's minced beef and cheese, oh yeah. Now I did this about 9 years ago when I think I called it Australian or New Zealand, one or the other, and almost started a regional war. But I think the Kiwis probably won. Anyway, it doesn't matter, this is my own version of it, and it's lovely. I know this because I made some last week and Mrs. KeefCooks was delighted. So there we go, more pies. I like pies, you know that. If you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And here we go. Right, I'm going to make the filling first because that takes longest. So I've got 500 grams of minced steak, actually, that's about 5% fat. I've got an onion. I've got a small handful of parsley and 500 millilitres of beef stock. We'll come back to that later because I want to talk about salt. These onions happen to be red. Ideally I would use brown ones, but our local supermarket seems to have a supply problem. Don't know why. Those need to be topped and tailed, peeled and chopped in the usual manner. Now finally chop the parsley. Really I should have a lot more of this parsley, but we've just put a plant out in the garden and there's not much of it at the moment. So there you go. Now we'll start cooking, so it's over to the stove. I've got a large frying pan and a glug of oil in there on medium-low heat, and then add the onions and gently let those cook for about 5 minutes till they start to soften but not brown. Then you can add the meat and prod that now and again to get it browned all over. Now add the beef stock, turn up the heat and bring it to a boil, and then turn it down and let it simmer. And you can add the parsley at this point and maybe some black pepper, and just let that bubble away for about an hour till it's nice and tender. Check it now and again. If it's starting to dry out, add more liquid. Okay, here's the salt lecture. I almost always use this OXO beef stock cubes for anything that needs a beef stock. I don't often make beef stock myself because I don't often have beef bones to make it from. So nutrition information is usually given in two forms. It's the total amount that's in the whole package, which isn't very informative, and the amount that's in a 100ml portion. So for the OXO stock cube, 100ml of made up stock contains 0.95 of a gram. And that means absolutely nothing to you unless you know that the recommended daily intake is 6 grams for an adult in the UK. So in that 500ml of stock there would be almost 5 grams of salt, and that seems like quite a lot because it's almost your full daily allowance, if you will. But you won't consume all of that. You will have, that stock will make 4 or 5 pies, so you're just going to get about 1 gram of salt in each pie. Right, I'm going to make some short crust pastry. So I've got 500 grams of plain all-purpose flour. I've got 125 grams of unsalted butter, 125 grams of lard, some salt and some water. There's 250ml there. I might not need to use all of it. Salt, normally I'd just use a tablespoon without even thinking about it for this quantity, and I really literally never have thought about it, but this time I will. I'm just going to use half teaspoon and see what difference that makes. Hopefully none. Put the salt in with the flour, mix it together, and then we want to cut the fats into little chunks because we're going to use the I was going to say word processor, the food processor, to blend that in with this. The fat, you can actually use all butter if you want, or all lard, or a mixture, as I'm doing. Right, here's our titchy little food processor. I'm going to have to do this in 2 batches, which is not ideal, but there you go. Also, what's not ideal is that this, I mentioned it's the hottest day so far this year. This butter's been out in the kitchen, because that's where it lives, and I should have actually put it in the fridge because it's a lot softer than it should be for this pastry. I'll try to add half butter and half the lard. You can do this manually, it's quite a bit of work, but what you do is put the flour and the salt in a large bowl and mix in the bits of fat with your fingertips without melting it. Okay, whiz whiz. Okay, that's both batches done. I'll mix both batches together and add some water. I think that might do actually. I'm going to put some flour on the worktop, tip it out and give it a bit of a knead. We're not kneading it like bread, we're just pressing it all together, see if it holds, and it pretty much does. So I'm going to wrap that in plastic film, stick it in the fridge to rest for at least half an hour, probably longer because it is, such a warm day. But yeah, I said I wouldn't probably use all the water, so there's about 100 ml left in there, so I've only used 150 ml on this. Right, the filling's ready, so I'm going to transfer it to a cold bowl. I want this to cool down completely before we stick it in the pies. Okay, getting there. Now we want some grated cheese, so I've got some mature cheddar, 150 grams of it. Let's whack it through the machine. Plug it in. And while we're wittering on about salt, this particular one has 1.8 grams of salt per 100 grams of cheese. Now let's start building the pies. Normally when I make pies I use a pie tin, pie dish. But for a change I'm going to make some sort of deep straight-sided ones. So I'm using these collars as formers, or pastry rings I think they call them. So that is 10 centimetres, 4 inches diameter, and they're not non-stick. So what I'm going to do is just butter the insides, quite easy to do on a hot day like this, and then sprinkle it with rice flour. Or you could use semolina or polenta or something else. The point is, this won't stick to the pastry because this doesn't contain gluten. Okay, flour on the worktop. I'm going to roll the lids out, so grab some pastry and roll it to about 5mm, about 1/4 of an inch thick. And then grab a cutter. I'm using this, which is a little bit bigger than the rings, and this came with the do you remember the pie maker I got a few months ago? I've used it once since. I'm not mad keen on it. It's more trouble than it's worth, really. Cut your discs and set them aside. Bit of an eclipse on that one. Now roll out the pastry for the bases of the pies. Let's chuck it in and ease it down to the bottom. You don't want to crease it, fold it or tear it. And that is easier said than done. You need to be a bit careful with these because they've got no bottoms. That does mean that the bottoms cook better because there's not, an extra layer of metal in between. And trim it around the edge, actually leave a bit of a rim to stick the lid onto. Okay, 5 pie bases, 5 lids, and a big chunk of pastry left over, which I'll use for something else, obviously. So now I'll get the filling out of the fridge and hurl it into the pie bases. Okay, that's all the meat filling used up. Now I'm going to moisten the rims with water and then put some cheese in. There's a little bit of cheese left over and I can use that to just sprinkle on top of the pie lid. Grab a lid and squeeze them together and just tease them into a kind of crimpy effect and tease it away from the edge of the ring. Actually, before I finish those, I'm going to transfer them all onto this baking sheet because there's a bit of water on the worktop, and that's going to make the bottoms soggy. So I've got a rimmed baking sheet, little blobs of butter in the corner to hold down this greaseproof paper, and now some rice flour. Actually, it's called ground rice flour, same thing. And grab the pies. Now you want to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius for a fan oven, convection oven. That's 200 for a normal one, and that's, I think, probably gas 6. Before you put the pies in the oven, you want to glaze them with some egg wash. So that's a beaten egg and a little splash of milk. Then paint the tops of the pies. Okay, and sprinkle with a little bit of cheese if you want. There we go, so they can go in the oven for initially 20 minutes, and then I'm going to take them out and try and get them out of their rings, and then give them another 20 minutes or so. Alright, we've had 20 minutes, and oh, look at that, as if by magic. Okay, I cheated. I just loosened it a little bit with a knife. And it should slide off. Yay! But, I mean, these are very hot, so do be careful. And then we put them back in for another 20 minutes, and then they should be done. Okay, time's up. Let's get them out. Ooh. They look a bit pale and interesting. I think I'll give them 5-10 minutes more, actually. Okay, about another 7 minutes, and I don't think they're going to improve. I should have maybe glazed the sides, I don't know. Anyway, let's let them cool down a little bit, and then rip one open and taste it. Okay, it's a shame it looks like the filling's only half filling the pie. The ones I made last week were, yeah, they stayed full. But anyway, let's have a go. Oh, let's try this less salty than normal pastry. That's fine, I could live with that. And the meat and cheese filling. Yep, that's marvellous. So, I'm very pleased with those. I should mention, you don't often, well, I don't think I've ever seen minced beef and cheese pies on sale in the UK. So, it's an unusual combo that really works, so give it a go. They're really good cold as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.